Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Yoga for the Creative Soul Book Club. Today, we're talking about our organizational style. And if you've ever been a part of the corporate world, especially, you'll really hear about the organizational style of creative types. So we will address that today. You missed it before we started the recording, a little bit of the folks who were here seeing me still getting myself organized for today's gathering. Just some of why this made sure it made it into the book. Oh, we'll talk about that more as we go on, and we'll link organization to mental health a little bit, to our creative selves, and do an expressive activity that'll start roughly 7 minutes into this video. And the teaching continues. You're welcome to join us live anytime. Then you get the benefits of the discussion beforehand and the support of the group. Please do join the Facebook group. The link for the Zoom meeting and the link for the Facebook group is in the description below here on this YouTube video. And remember to share this video with anybody you think it might benefit. Like it, subscribe it. It really helps us when you do those things. Yes, and all the past videos and meetings are here for your enjoyment as well. You don't even have to have the book, just come hang out with us. Today, before we started the recording, what you weren't privy to were some discussions about disturbing world events. And as time has passed and as time goes on, these events could be a multitude of things. We know what is current and the heaviness and concern we're sitting with right now. If you're watching this video 5 years from now, they might be different concerns, but this is the nature of material reality. This is an aspect of the human condition, and what we hope is growing pains in the evolution of consciousness. We know it doesn't always have to be this way. The biological imperative towards violence, or apparent imperative towards violence, isn't the true nature of being. On the subatomic level, everything is the same stuff. So if I decide I'm going to kick you in the shins, I'm really just kicking myself, right? It's all just particles. And subatomically waves, right? Particles and waves. And boy, oh boy, I'm not going to go into a quantum physics rabbit hole, but suffice it to say, our impressions of material reality are very limited. In yoga, the system of yoga, we'll talk about this more in weeks to come, but yoga teaches us not to rely on the senses. They're highly flawed. Marvin Gaye famously said, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, because you heard it through the grapevine. But truly, we can only see within a range of light. We can only hear within a certain frequency. The senses are flawed. Material reality is giving us limited information, but as we go inwards, as we remain open and conscious, as we hold the context, the understanding of unitive consciousness, then we remember that all things are one. All things are one. All is united. And so as there is strife in the world, we remember that this is material strife, and we do what we can in the material world. Because a lot of these problems arise from a consumerist model, a financial model, a lot of this is written. You can find a lot of good information by searching out the Occupy movement. But if finances are part of what's causing the issue, then finances wind up being part of the solution. Some of the best ways we can help are through donations. And if you're current in this video, I'll post a news post that's offering recommendations for where's the best place to send our funds to this cause. And then energetically, we send send, like whatever that means to you, light and love. So perhaps before we get rolling on the organization activity today, we can do something guided that you can then carry through your day and weeks and even years to come as a practice. And I invite you to hold me accountable to this. See above reorganizational issues that I would be inclined to just miss it, but remind me, and we can keep this going as part of our practice while conflict is highly active globally. Speaking of historical conflict, I do acknowledge my privilege as a settler, as a great grandchild of colonizers, that I'm thankful to live, work, convene, and create on the lands of the Six Nations, the neutral people, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishnawbe, and to join them in support of reclaiming the Haldimand Tract and to honor the dish with one spoon wampum agreement that brought peace to these lands hundreds of years ago. We're talking about yoga and creativity for mental health, and yoga as a system of experiencing unitive consciousness is forever encouraging us to the practice of awareness, noticing ourselves, our lives, our interactions, our blocks to goodness, and also to connect to that harmonized flow for the realization of all beings. Holding that intention in our hearts and minds, let's just go inwards a little bit more. If the body is experiencing need or discomfort, feel welcome to stretch, to move, to mobilize, to free up a little bit before settling into a meditative posture, one that allows you balance, strength, security, relaxation. And as you breathe, let the breath bring ease to the cells, ease to the muscles and organs, ease to the state of mind. Letting that breath flow through the thoughts and feelings, smoothing them. With practice, quieting them, creating a bit more mental space. And here in this space, in this settling, we'll play with visualization. Stay connected to the one that best fits your lived experience, the way it lands in your meditative field. Beginning by feeling love, compassion, peace, filling your heart, your mind, your guts. Breathing in this peace and equanimity. Breathing out, elaborating this calm and love. As it is a divine force, you aren't creating it within yourself. It exists there. It is part of our divine and embodied being. You don't have to do anything to make it occur. You don't have to force the love. It is within and all around us at all times. You're just focusing on it now. And because the focus is there, it brightens, it thickens, it grows, shining from within through your skin all around you, connecting with all the love that already exists in the space, shining through the building, gathering with all the love that's already there, the way water droplets collect down your street, through your town, province, or state, gathering all the love that's already there, infinite cosmic force, filling your country and continent, shining, brightening, purifying, gathering. Across the seas, water, a beautiful and brilliant conductor, traveling in the air, the atmosphere, and through the ground, above ground, and the grounds below sea level, until the entire planet is bright and flowing with this universal love, peace, unified calm. And the hearts and minds of all those who have access to this also brighten and awaken and shine with that peace and love. Truth and connection, purity, peace. If you wish to direct these forces to a specific person, part of the world, all you have to do is whisper its name or picture its location or set the intention. Energy has its own intelligence, and there it is instantly. Again, you don't have to make it happen. If it feels more real, more embodied, more present for you, you can cup your hands or create a chi ball and hold the globe or hold that location or person within that meditative space, inside, heart, mind, intention, or outside with the hands as well. Whatever fits for your practice. And we'll take 3 more breaths. Being peace, radiating peace. Remembering our energetic boundaries in the material realm, in consciousness, the places where we are unique individuals manifest in material reality. Trust that that collective peace, love, and intention continues to flow without your conscious direction and become more self-inhabited. You can do this by changing the breathing pattern a little bit, becoming more aware of your body, offering movement, you wish to stay with the meditation and are watching the recording, just pause here and come back to today's activities when the time is right. You're here live. Guide yourself back. Today we're talking about purifying the environment. We're talking about the niyama, the observance of saucha, of purity. And saucha speaks of purifying our hearts and minds of negativity, noticing in what ways in our inner world could we be cultivating and appreciating more health, and then being responsive in that way. But this saucha, this purity, also talks about body, health in the body, removing toxins, transforming lifestyle habits that are keeping us from the purest access to who we truly are, that might be dinging our health. And purity also in the external environment, cleansing our space of contaminants, cleansing our space of chaos, which then chaos by its nature starts to weigh in the emotions and the mind. So all these aspects of purity, subtly inwards, physically inwards, or the exterior, are all at play as we're following this system of the eightfold path of yoga. But thinking of that environment, it can be challenging for so-called creative types to maintain order. Oftentimes people who are highly creative have different brain structures, and so it follows that there's a different organizational structure there as well. So we're playing today with the activity that is in chapter 7 and is spanning, its preamble is on page 98, but the activity itself spans pages 99 and 100. So we'll do it a little differently today in the gathering. I encourage you to play with what is written in Yoga for the Creative Soul on your own time as well. But let's express our relationship with our organizational system. So if you want to, whatever modality you want to use, go for that modality. I'm going to cue it as visual, as a visual expressive activity today. So just getting that clean page. And you know, if you want 2 pages as well for today, go for it. One of these can be where you are drawing your aesthetic response to what I'm saying. So you're somehow depicting what's coming up for you in thought, in emotion around what's being taught. And the other page, the expressive activity, is more guided. So the one page, that's almost like your journal, your responses, what's happening in there. So we're thinking about our own organizational system. And if you can see your workspace from where you are, have a look over there, or you kind of know what it's like, imagine it. Or if you want to pick up real quick and go peek your head in the door and see it with fresh eyes, because sometimes we don't really see. I myself am what you might call clutter blind. I don't notice a mess and I don't see things that I'm not looking for. Yeah, it's convenient. That's probably overly convenient, but it is the way. So if I went and if I was to look at my workspace with fresh eyes right now, I might be really curious about why haven't I taken the paper recycling up, or you know, all these things that I'm not looking at, so they're not there. But with fresh eyes, we start to see what's this like. And I've already admitted to you that I do lean towards spreading out towards a more chaotic environment. Maybe yours is lovely. And when you look at your organizational space, you feel like this really reflects who I am. The colors are on point. The imagery in my workspace is on point. Everything has a home and is in its home. And That's lovely. And I'm thrilled for you. And speaking of unitive consciousness, if you want to vibe that out to the world, I might download a bit of that myself, since it's unlimited anyway. But as you're reflecting on your workspace, start to notice, what is your organizational strategy? Are you like I just described? Do you have a discipline, top us? Do you have peace of mind from knowing where everything is supposed to go and taking time each day to put it there? I recently heard a strategy that was as simple as never leave a mess anywhere ever. Awesome. I'm pleased and proud of all who have found a success in that. And I will continue to endeavor. Practice, practice, practice. That's tapas, right? Does it bring you joy to sort things? Do you know that things are in a file to varying degrees of being able to put it there? Or do you need to see everything? I think the folks who are so-called pilers are the type who need to just see it. And in fact, when I sent this book out for testimonials and reviews, one of my very dear friends who she's well respected, lots of fans and followers, but confidentially emailed me back and said, I'm so relieved to hear you say this. My desk is a mess, and if I put anything away, I'm afraid I'll never come back to it. And in fact, missed a contract because it was during a time where she was on an office organizational kick, but it wasn't on her desk, so it didn't exist. I myself am one of those. If I don't see it, it's not there. So what I've learned is that I need cubbies. Cubbies bring me great joy. I can look, everything has a home, but where is it? Right in front of me. That brings me peace of mind. To figure out what might bring you peace of mind, there's a really easy quiz on clutterbug.me. And so she's, are you a grasshopper? Are you a ladybug? Are you a butterfly? And there's one other that I'm forgetting right now. Cricket? No, couldn't be. See what your style is, and then she'll give you tips, more practical strategies than what we're using right now. But here we go. So you've been kind of drawing your aesthetic responses as we're talking about this. Any negativity that's coming up in that aesthetic response, remember to counter program with color, with movement, with sacred depictions, with affirmation. We're not just going to leave our self-judgment and negativity there. But as you're reflecting on what your organizational strategy might be, can you, on your fresh page for the expressive activity, can you express what's comforting about it? For example, I might just draw me with all my stuffs all around me. I like to see it, then I know where it is, and I'm not going to forget about it. Me with all my stuffs around me feels pretty good. That's comforting to me. But in what ways is your workspace comforting for you? So just depict that now. And notice what's happening in your body and with your breath as you are depicting what you find comforting about your organizational strategy. And this is some of where expressive arts is really fun, because, how do I depict being comfortable with everything in its home? Have fun with it. Have fun. Maybe you're just drawing a grid, right? Or maybe you are representing it with objects of symmetry, like twin trees or earth and sky. It's yours, all yours, right? You can depict this however you want. But you're depicting what you find comforting about it. And then what I would ask of you is to acknowledge, what is it that this strategy is soothing? So if you're playing expressive arts as mental health, excuse me, you might go a little bit deeper with it. I was raised in chaos. So when things are organized, I know that my adult life is different from my child life. You can go pretty deeply with it, but you don't have to. Maybe it's as simple as when things are put away, I feel like it's settled. There's a great big check mark, all is well. And when I look around, all is well is reflected back to me. There are as many examples of how this might be soothing as there are people, perhaps. But for yourself, in your depiction, if you can, note that. What in particular is soothing about this organizational strategy for me? And if you haven't done it already, depict this you, this version of you existing in this soothing organizational strategy. Depict that soothedness, depict that comfort. I'm just drawing it as a soft little smile on my face. And there's some of my stuff around me. No matter how clean my desk is, there is always going to be a mug on my desk. Never say always, never say never, but pretty reliably, there's going to be papers there. There's going to be too many pens there. And that's comforting to me. You know, writers write. I am almost obligated to have paper and pens everywhere, because what if I have an idea? So there's the little smile on my face in my depiction. But once you have depicted that, what is comforting about the organizational strategy and identifying what fears it is soothing, I would ask that you make some containers on your expressive page. So maybe that means drawing a box or a few boxes. Maybe you even draw a tickle trunk or a treasure chest. But container somehow in this visualization so that it is a part of yet held separate from the comfort and the soothing. And within that container, depict what fears are being soothed. And if you'd already started depicting the fears that are being soothed, containerize them now. Give them a boundary. Put them in a safe space so that the fears are held. And I'll just depict this really quickly. So one of my fears is that if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. So I drew some eyes. And also, I think my inner child might be playing a role here where nobody's going to make me clean it up. I can't help but think there's a bit of that. So I drew just this, I drew this little stick figure flexing. That's a little stick figure flexing. Because I'm all grown up now. So if I want to have a mug that exists forever on my desk, then I can. If I want 12 pens scattered across the surface, I can do that because I'm all grown up now and nobody can tell me not to. So there might be a bit of rebellion. And as soon, probably maybe this is a personality thing, but as soon as I start talking about rebellion, I can feel a very youthful glee rise up in me. So as you are depicting these things, are you noticing the emotional buttons, the theories, the range of what's going on with your breath and body while you're depicting it? I jumped ahead to the next step, which is how can you, let's start with just part of this bullet point. How can you meet these needs or soothe these fears? So sticking with this example that I'm giving, how can I still feel like a grown-up who has self-agency and the right to my own space without turning that space into chaos? Because we want to, especially as creatives, we need our younger selves. That's, in theory, where the imagination is coming from, where that mystical interface is really thriving within us. We don't want to limit our inner children, but how can we create some safety and saucha, purity? Where is there purity? Well, those inner selves can still thrive and express themselves. So here in your depiction, you're finding some way within that container of drawing objects of soothing, of comforting those fears that you containerized. You can do this with symbols, with color, with the motion of the medium you're using. You can do this verbally as well. And as you endeavor here, depicting what soothes and supports those fears, continue to notice your breath and body. The other aspect of this step is to connect soothing those fears to maintaining the type and quality of organization that would best soothe you, would best serve you also. So we're going back to that first point. Does this workspace reflect who I am? And when it does, as we endeavor towards that and find our way with it, we feel more like ourselves. There is less asaucha, non-purity, that we have to cope with. So how can we soothe those fears? How can we stay organized? Noticing your breath as you play this game, just doing it symbolically. For concrete strategies, you can go to the website clutterbug.me. You can check out Peter Walsh's stuff. He was big about 20 years ago, but Clutterbug is one of his proteges. We're still using Peter Walsh's model, and Marie Kondo has her own way of doing this. I depicted the soothing and the organization in purple, with just another grown-up coming in and holding hands with my grown-up self, feeling strong, to say, like, hey buddy, you don't have to scatter everything everywhere to prove that you're an independent adult. And also, I was just going to put check marks on it, but instead I drew eyelashes on the eyes, as if to say, yes, I can see everything, but I can keep it visible to myself in an organized, tidy way. I can apply a system to my workspace, and that's okay. And then I also just kind of underlined some of those objects that wind up piling in my space, entropy, moving in the direction of chaos, to color them a little bit, to underscore with the idea of tidiness. So I know this activity isn't necessarily applicable to everyone, but lots of us are neurologically wired in such a way that it's more easy for us to let a mess accumulate, especially if we are living with trauma or depression. And this is a valuable process to go a little deeper, understand that different people have different organizational strategies, and some of what might be keeping us in a mess is coming from a deeper place, is coming from a need for soothing, is coming from fear. So before we close out the video today, I want to give the folks who are here a chance to share their depictions if they wish. Remember that we love to see your stuff in the Yoga for the Creative Soul book club on Facebook. There's a lot of support and feedback there for you if you wish to engage. We're always thinking of you and wanting to know what you're up to and how are you depicting things? How are you moving through the ideas we're discussing? If you want a little one-on-one support, or if you have follow-up questions, just reach out to me on social media. I am here. I am interested. So pretty quiet in the group. Pretty quiet in the group. So, oh, look at this. Yeah, go ahead. No.
I'll go.
Hi, Kate.
I'll go. Yeah. So it's funny because when you were telling us what to do, I was like, wait, I remember she's describing my picture. Because I just started making this is what I started with. I started with I feel like my art area, is my bubble. It's kind of like a bubble I've created for myself. And I like to see everything, but I'm definitely love to put everything in little containers and stuff. And then right here, I wrote mine because, as I've said, I have 5 siblings, so my stuff was never my stuff. So it's so nice to have my own stuff. And I could really feel my little girl in this picture and how excited she is that I'm once again, coming into this person, this art, doing my furniture and just coming into this place of this person that can just express herself freely. I could feel her, while I was doing this. So thank you. It's very nice.
It's great. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to see that too, all held in the rainbow. It was lovely. Hi, Donna.
Hi. So, boy, this could not be more timely, Erin. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. This is my studio workshop right now. I have too much junk. This is my sewing table, and you can't hardly see it because there's so much junk on it, and it's a big sewing table. This is all the stuff behind it. Everything, all my fabric and all my junk is just falling out all over the place. And yesterday I went to visit a quilter friend, and she has a new studio. And oh my gosh, it is the dream studio. It is beautiful light windows and incredibly beautiful wooden desk that she had made so that her machine sinks right inside of it, and showed me where all her thimbles were and all, so I just went I started really judging myself. I started to say, well, she's better than you because she has done this. I start to do that because other people show their studios and show them off, and they want to see, and mine's a workshop. It's cement floor. It's just, the insulin, isolation, no, whatever that is still showing. It's not there. However, I'm like you, Erin. If I can't see it, I forget about it. It's out of sight, out of mind. And so, this is really basic, but, I would make better quilts if I was more organized. I could do them faster. Look at this fabric, all beautifully lined up in a row and in colors. So my tidiness will never, I can't compare it, because for me, it looks tidy. I know where this is. I know where that is. Not always. I do have to tidy up, but after I tidy up, I'm sure everybody thinks it's still a big mess, but for me, I can see everything. I know where everything is. I've got them labeled, actually, so that's my feeling anyway. My response.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, and a reminder for all of us about the dangers of comparison. We can't compare. There's no comparison. Only Donna's Donna. So yeah. So great to hear you find that pathway to compassion. And so the rest of the action takes place off camera. Thanks. Oh, you want to share, Bonnie?
Sure. I've got things organized in categories. Definitely love stacking things, and everything that's similar needs to go in the same pile. So I've got all the different art supplies stacked that way, tubes of paints and everything. And then it was definitely so I can see everything. I'm in the middle. I need the space around me, which I don't have enough of. And then I can see everything from all angles, which gives me a sense of wholeness. And then I just made shapes. Sue's the chaos. Sue's being ready for action. And Sue's, I know where all the tools are to be ready for that action. And this was my little dome of safety, similar to Kate's. Sue's being able to see everything so I won't be caught off guard. It's my dome of safety. And it soothes the fear of missing the creative spark. So if I know where everything is, I can grab it and go. But I can see you can go much deeper into those layers.
Yeah, insightful. Thank you, Bonnie. And thanks to all of you who are watching the video. We appreciate you. I appreciate those who are here live, and we'll catch you next week and every week, Wednesdays at 12:30 Eastern.